Hey,
Hello.
we just had a slight technical difficulty of like, wait a minute, what happened? Hey, it's all technical difficulties. We are here. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Wayward Gamers, to the Emporium. I am Jay, also known as NeoFet3 on the socials. And suddenly you were like, wait a minute, we had the intro. Why are we starting again? No, we're here. We're here. That's just, hitting wrong buttons and everything else. So we're all good. Welcome, everyone. We are so excited to be back here for our episode 2. And let us go around and introduce who we are.
Two? Yeah. Two.
Yeah, episode 2. We are season 3, episode 2 of the Legends of the Natural Ones. Because we changed your name. We changed, we're now Pathfinder 2.
Changed everything.
We changed everything, and that's why we're here. Have some fun. So, Harry, how are you doing?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. I'm Carrie, and today I'm gonna be playing Brynn, who is having some changes. And
Brynn going through menopause?
changes. Yeah. Well, not yet, apparently. And so here we are, and it's all good. Good times. So pretty excited to
she
see
is
where this
older.
continues. I am older, but that's not how the ladies work. But God bless. So here we go. I'm excited.
Thank
Always
you.
fun.
Welcome. Yes, we're so happy to have you. Thank you so much. Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm quite well, thank you, Jay. I am Jeff. I am here enjoying the company of these wonderful players and game master. And I, as always, play Aviro Starborn, our high elf wizard slash teenager slash coward slash bookworm. From session 0, he has been a bookworm.
Slash
Yes, he
know-it-all.
has.
Slash,
Sometimes he
This is
literally
pretty
does know it all, though. So
Yeah.
He does know it all.
Yep.
Except for when he doesn't, then has to go research.
and then he knows it all,
And then he knows it all.
albeit briefly.
And he will tell you all about it more than you want to know.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeff. Jim, how are you doing, sir? And who are you playing?
Good. So I'm Jim, Hawkmere1 on Twitter, and playing Glastoc Steelcloak, our Dwarven sorcerer.
Dwarven sorcerer. Yes, of extraordinary.
Yeah, there's no more beating around the bush. He's not a fighter.
Nope.
He's a sorcerer.
He's the black sheep of the family.
At some point, it will become very apparent in this game that he is much more of a sorcerer than he ever let on. So,
Perhaps more than he knew himself.
oh no, it's
awesome. Thank you so much. We are picking up the recap of season 3 is that they have now are in Golarion and they are in Schmaltmarsh. They've been they've met Leto, and Leto has a proposal of like, hey, I've got I need to fulfill a debt that Brynn has made long ago about a job. He has a job, and it's a twofold because you know what? They want to get to Sandpoint to meet the Sebastian guy, and Leto's like, I can take you to Magnamarth around by sea on my ship, dusk by dawn, and I can we'll get you there, and it's going to take about a week journey, but yeah, meet me at dusk where we'll set sail. And right now the group is finishing up their afternoon activities of searching for information, gathering information, having emotionally charged and fulfilling meetings, as well as gathering some items they need for their trip. And we're going to pick up as later in the afternoon, just before their 4:00 meet time, to reconnect before they go back to they go to the dock to meet Leto on his ship. Is there anything else in the afternoon that you were in Schmaltmarsh that you were gathering, or information that you needed to pick up, or anything like that? And it's just before 4:00 that you're getting this final meet.
Ready to rock.
Yeah, ready to rock and roll.
Okay.
I guess I would say to Glastoc, I'd be like, if you could not mention the person that I saw that I knew from a while ago.
well.
Don't say anything to Aviro.
Oh no. And remember, Glastock never outrightly said anything, or you're not aware
I
of.
said, I
Yeah,
know.
I
I
know. You're
just,
assuming. So, yeah.
I'm
And
just saying, yeah,
to g-
I told him.
well, this is the other thing. Glassdock, you don't know exactly who you knew who
No,
the person was. You recognize,
right.
Mm.
but you don't understand what was going on.
Right.
There's
No,
something
and
emotional and there's crying,
yeah,
but there's
yeah,
unknown.
and Glastock doesn't. He wants to help Brynn out,
Mm.
but at the same time, he's not going to press her
Mhm.
Well,
because
it might be
Brynn could
that
kick
he
his ass if she really wanted to. So,
Fair.
especially
Fair.
now in this world.
Yeah.
So,
Bryn's a little beefier than she was prior.
I mean,
So,
it might be that we knew that he was the the guy in the future, and
Yes.
so we knew that Brynn had a mild connection with him
mhm.
previously. So maybe
Actually,
the assumption could be, oh, she's just relieved that he's here, and she's just having an emotional
Right.
response to
but
what we
yeah,
had seen in the
Glastock's
future.
not going to assume anything.
No.
And when Brynn wants to talk about it, Brynn will talk about it.
Probably the best way to go about it.
Oh
But
yeah,
no, the only thing Glastock would know is what Bryn said, which is
exactly. Yeah.
somebody that I knew from a long time ago.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then I guess they would have seen that he has familiar features
Well, I wasn't
when he
necessarily
came to them.
close. Well,
No, I
yeah,
mean not just
yeah,
now,
the
but
one
like
time,
when he
yeah,
brought the
the box.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the box.
yeah.
So-
So because he would have been 50, 60 years old at the time of like in the future when he brought the box, you realize that, like I said, that was Talk at 50 years in the future, and this is him as a young, a young man in his 19s and 20s, and the thing, which again, which would mean he's probably, he's actually was like 70, but he looked like he was in his 50s. So age wise, like I said,
Good genes.
good
Half
genes.
elves.
Yeah,
They-
half
they-
elves.
Got a little-
yeah.
Got
Well,
a little,
that's
little half elf in him.
Quarter elves.
Yeah.
And but you would have realized that was him. But yeah, like I said, it's one of those you never really focus to figure out if there was anything. So you can make your own assumptions. But yeah, so about 4 o'clock, everyone you gather back to the Wicked Sheep, and you are kind of having your dinner before getting on the ship and stuff like that, and everyone's there and enjoying the time. And what would you like to do? Share information that you've gathered.
I'm sure Aviro
Mhm.
is
Has much to talk about.
vomiting way more information than Brynn and Glastock even care about hearing. But
Yep. Bryn is just patiently listening though. And again, she's just sort of like enjoying the presence of your own Glastock, it seems like.
And
Just sort of like
yeah, and that's what, and the rest of you are kind of you're noticing that Bryn's been very like
Bryn's been nice.
been nice but different. She's been different too. And the other things that you two pick up on is she's mellowed. It's just a little bit, not very much, but as when someone mellows with age of just different things, you just
there's
notice
that age thing again with her. We got to really get off of her back about that.
You know
There's
what?
nothing wrong with aging.
There is nothing wrong with aging.
But you someone, like I said, when you're younger and there's that slight difference, that subtle difference you both pick up on, that you just it's Brynn, but it's just something. Yes.
Does Aviro pick up on it? I don't think he would.
You don't
I
think
don't think he would pick up on. No, I think it would be.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah,
I think he'd be so focused on the facts
fair.
that he's been studying. I don't think
Glastock
he
might.
would notice it at all.
Glastock
Glastock
would.
would notice.
Glastock
I don't
would.
think Aviro would notice.
Okay.
That makes
I think
sense.
he's too
Yeah.
myopic in his research
That's
focus.
totally fair.
Yep.
Yeah.
would agree. All right, would agree. So yeah, you're sitting at the table, food's kind of coming in, early dinners. I leave it to you.
So the melding of the two consciousnesses within one entity has been documented 17.3 times. I count the 0.3 because it was only merely referenced in this file. You don't care, do you?
Yeah.
Right.
Aviro, I'm trying very hard to care.
Well,
I'm doing my best.
The short version is that's what happened, and that it has been noticed before. I found a very interesting conversation with Hendrik Copperlock, of all people, which I had with him. I can't believe he wrote the transcript of our conversation, but didn't name me. I shall have to have words with him at some point.
That's plagiarism.
That is. Whips out his notebook and starts writing down
That's-
furiously.
Glastoc
File a complaint.
leans over to Brent. No, that's Copperlocks. They're known for taking credit for things that they,
And
Well, that's what I found out. What did you find out?
I wasn't really researching. I was just people watching and going about town. It's almost exactly what it was when we left, but just little differences. Different people owning different shops and whatnot. Radix is still Radix.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, and Glastoc pushes this little vial towards Aviro, and that's in case you don't feel well on the ship.
Interesting. What is it? And he opens it up and he sniffs it.
called
It's
Dramamine.
yes.
Dramamine.
Dramamine.
It's
Dramamine.
Dramamine.
Yeah.
It's a liquid form of Dramamine.
Oh, Dramamine.
Essence
Oh,
of.
motion sickness.
Essence of
Dramamine. Yes.
Essence of
Canon.
Dramamine.
Canon.
Yes. Ah, that's very considerate of you. Thank you, Glastoc.
Ah.
I assume you got some for yourselves as well.
Yes. It's called
Perfect.
ale. And
Been a while since I've been on a ship. It'll be a welcome respite.
I'm sort of excited to see if I have sea legs, but I'm also terrified because there are very large things in the ocean, and I don't like that.
So in my perusing of the shops and stuff, I did pick up a little bit of information for Rocky.
Oh. What?
So apparently our friend may have flown to the north. He hasn't been seen in this area in quite some time, but the rumors are that he's further north than here. So at least we have a place where we can head towards when we
Good.
want to start hunting him down. And I hate to use the term hunting, but
Yeah. Well, at least we know now, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Brynn just seems a little distant, but she's listening and trying to kind of be on board.
so. But yeah. Other than that, it's just food and fill up, and the whole time Glastoc's watching how much Aviro's eating and trying to calculate how much of that's going to end up on the deck of the ship. The first couple of hours into this voyage. So.
Mm-hmm.
Jay,
Yes.
in order to get from Absalom to Schmaltmarsh, would Aviro have had to be on a ship to get there?
Not necessarily.
You
You could have taken. There would have been. You could have probably gone north and then taken a ship to north and then taken an inland. What's the word I'm looking for?
caravan
Caravan.
route
Yeah.
or something.
Ferry.
Yeah.
What would be the average way of getting there? Like, is it cheaper to go by boat or is it cheaper to go by land?
It would be cheaper to go by boat, but more time. It would be less time. But remember, you were.
So it's cheaper and faster?
It's a little bit cheaper. But remember, the city that you actually the city that you met at, the Adventurers Guild, was actually we've decided that it's gonna. I was looking at either Bernaday or like another coastal city, and that it would have been not Cora, but like Palin's Cove or Valarin on the map, and that instead of a week, it would have been actually a longer travel. to get to
Okay.
Small Marsh because you would have gone
So
around the ridges.
he probably took a boat. He probably took a boat from Absalon to wherever they met at the
Yeah,
Adventurers
I mean,
Guild.
you have been on a boat before.
Okay.
A ship.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely. So, and as you're more conversations, anything else that you sharing, talking about, anything like that?
Brynn would look down and notice her tattoo again, and she would like go to pull up her sleeve, and she'd be like, oh, "Fuck's sake!" So, because it could matter strategically, I feel like I should show you this. And she holds it up and just like shows them. It's just this again. It's this tattoo on her forearm. She didn't have it before. Um, and it just sort of looks like banded kind of patterns and elven looking stuff. Um, and
Avira reads the inscription.
it says prone to violence. And
Of course it does.
in Elvish. And she said, because it could matter, we ever get in a pinch. And then she kind of almost like looks like she's like slinging something out. And you see this tattoo almost like unravel from her forearm. And it becomes in just like a very brief blue flash. It becomes an axe. And it
That's
is
a
a
neat trick.
menacing looking axe that looks like vaguely looks like a skull at the end and edges of it. Just like, so if you ever get in a pinch and we don't have our weapons, we have a weapon. And
Oh.
then almost like just with like one more motion, it sort of dematerializes and just goes back around her arm. And then she pulls her sleeve down again.
Aviro immediately wants to make an Arcana check to know what the hell this thing is.
Please do.
Does he like grab her arm? It's like
I can imagine. Yeah.
He doesn't quite grab her arm because that's too forward. But a 21 for an Arcana check. But I also have assured identification.
Yep. It's a magic
there
item.
you
It's
go.
a magic tattoo.
Okay. That doesn't apply here. Okay.
Fun fact, that's one of my magic items that I took upon this campaign. It's called Vengeful Arm.
That's pretty awesome.
Pretty badass.
Nice.
Fascinating. That's excellent work. The way that they infused the particular motes within the cellular structure of your skin is diabolical.
Avira, what was your Arcana roll?
21.
She's had this tattoo for about 5 years.
Copy that.
And then she kind of like sees it. It's like, seen everything you need to see?
Oh, yes, thanks very much. That was fascinating. I appreciated every moment.
Welcome. And she would just kind of shrug and like look around and be like, well, about how much time do we have, boys?
Hang on. I cast time sense.
What? What the fuck is time sense?
You learn exactly what time it is down to the second. You can instead choose to gain perfect sense of the calendar if you have knowledge in that area, trained in nature. Learn exactly how long it is until sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
And how many days until the next solstice.
I love that is a specific, like...
Yep.
That's a cantrip.
Yep.
That is a cantrip that I can do.
So it's I'd say it's almost a little between 4:30 and 5, sometime in between there that you know the exact time. And by 5 o'clock, you should probably make your way so that you're there by 6 o'clock so that you leave within that dusk time.
So dusk is at around 6 o'clock.
I would say 6:30. You want to be on ship by 6. So.
And how long is it going to take us to get to the docks?
20 minutes.
Okay.
So 20, 30 minutes based off of, but yeah, you'll be able to make it no problem.
So I cast time sense, and so I pull out and Aviro scribbles arcane equations in the air, and a mystical stopwatch, pocket watch appears. Clock appears, and then it spins and 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 it spins, and then it poofs away in a cloud of purple smoke. Well, that's strange. That's never happened before. All right. Well, anyway, we've got about 20 more minutes here before we need to start journeying.
I love that our magical things are all color coded. Mine's blue. Yours is purple. Glastoc, what color is yours?
Actually, a lot of them are going to be white. So
Awesome. Fucking awesome. Amazing. We're like the Power Rangers.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
And as you you share information, you're getting the realm, and you're thinking about what all the stuff in Golarion. You research Sandpoint a little bit. I'm assuming Avira would have done a little bit of that, of where
I
you're
assume
going.
he would have already known that. Other
Yeah.
Aviro
So
already knows about
He doesn't know
Magnemar,
about Sandpoint.
Magnemar is a huge city on the coast. Sandpoint is a small town that's got a lot of heritage, and a lot of adventures kind of come to it. You know that the history of Sandpoint, there was adventurers that came. There was a goblins attack. There was
Bless you.
excuse me.
bless you.
Oh, whoa.
Bless you again.
We'll edit that out.
Yep.
One more.
Not really. So, but you and I don't know if you share any of this history of Sandpoint with the crew before you leave.
Of
I'm
course
sure
he
this
does.
Okay.
He shares everything.
So what you knowledge of is that
even the things they already know.
the town has a rich history of stuff. So there was several leaders in there. There was for a small town, there was a lot of encounters and situations that have affected the city. There was stone giants that attacked the city at one time, with a red dragon that attacked the city. Adventurers were able to stop them. The city got rebuilt. Then there was some other incidences that happened within the city. There was a goblin. There's a stronghold not too far away that goblins controlled and that adventurers took care of. And there's been a few different heroes or within adventurers that are in and out. The most famous tavern is called the Rusty Dragon in Sandpoint. And
that's what's said on our notes.
And before, there was Amiko was the owner and the creator of the Rusty Dragon. And it turned out that it turns out her father owned a glassworks in town, had some problems with family issues. And it turned out her father was killed and her brother was killed, or supposedly brother, but half brother of different things. But she turns out to have been a princess from Minkai, which is from a different continent. And adventurers took her to Minkai, and that is where she now is the empress of. And adventurers came back to the town. And the current owner of the Rusty Dragon is Sebastian, one of the adventurers that took her to Minkai.
As Aviro is telling all of this history of this town of Sandpoint, he stops him and says, for a town that's had so many disasters and things happen to it, you would think they would invest in a much better militia or guard or something of that nature. But no, apparently it's always adventurers that have to save the day. I don't understand this place. Anyway, as I was saying,
and there is an adventurers guild within the town and that's the unusual for a town that's that relatively small but large. They have an adventurers guild there because there's so much activity, and an adventurers guild is there as well as Magnemar. Brynn, that Magnemar has a Pathfinder Society lodge house there.
Good.
So there is
Good
one
to know.
there that is very prominent within the areas. But there's also a large history within Sandpoint. Like there's ancient ruins within the area as well of that region. The plateaus. There's a lot of farmlands on the side. There's a lot of goblins and monsters all throughout this entire land around Sandpoint. Other additions and there's been, like I said, some notable adventurers and things, and there are manors on cliffs and stuff like that. So there's, like I said, there's some rich history, and there's been quiet recently. So there hasn't been as many activities in the last 5 years or so. Aviro, you recall that there was something happened about 5 years ago, but it's not documented very well. All you know that there was some strange event that happened about 5 years ago that no one really talks about, but no one it just kind of like all it mentions is that there was an event. That's it. No one talks about what the event was, what happened. Like I said, it's just not there. It's just weird.
Ask Sebastian about the unknown event.
So
He has his lists. I love it.
So you make your way after this flood of information coming towards you. You make your way through Schmaltmarsh,
Smash.
and again the sights and the smells, same thing, is familiar. People walking. As you walk by, you remember where the carnival got attacked, where you were attacked by the carnival.
Mm.
And you know, as you're making your way, there's the uniqueness of, and as you make your way down to the dock area, and you know exactly where the ship, there's this large sailing ship, very sleek in certain areas. And the first thing, and Bryn, you would notice this, there's some unusual and unique tailoring. This is a nice sailing ship, and it has some very nice decals on it. Aviro, you would also notice certain arcane runes that are kind of strategically placed around the ship as you kind of approach it. And there is, like I said, this ship is very sleek. It's very nice.
Hmm.
26 on my Arcana roll to know what these runes are.
There's probably some to help it stealth, to help it being unnoticed, to help it speed. Like the sails might have a little bit when it needs to. There's probably some activation. It's definitely fire resistant.
I got a 24 on my sailing lore. So like a ship like this, what would it commonly be like used for? Like I see a ship like this, I imagine like, is it for transport? Is it for battle? Is it like what
Transport.
is the vibe?
Smuggling and transport.
Okay. Is it battle
So it's
ready?
like a yacht.
It's a sailing ship, but it's definitely yacht-ish. It's an
luxury.
It's a luxury. Like it's got that luxury. Somebody put some good money into it. And for reference, it's the Lando Millennium.
Oh,
Nice.
you are fucking kidding me.
Clean. Just brand spanking new. Just all the bells and whistles on it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
For the reference.
And it's got like how do its armaments look? Like is this thing decked out? Like
no, it does
no
not.
weapons?
There appears to be maybe a ballista on the front, but that's about it.
But
It's that you can see.
That you can see. But it's mainly, you get the impression it's built for speed and stealth, and maneuverability, not for combat.
Okay, good to know.
What color is it? What color are the sails? What color is the hull?
It is strong, like the normal brown, good stain brown, a little bit darker in certain areas. The sails are between bright blue with like edgings around. I mean, it looks like this is like a cape, and just like with
it's
white,
gaudy, in other words.
But it's a statement of like,
right. But like for a smuggling ship, it's not meant to look like other ships. It's like literally trying to stand out.
It's the smuggling ship.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's not awesome. This is a hunk of junk. This is literally it's look at me.
Yes.
Brynn would just kind of stand back and be like, "Oh, that's impressive."
And as you're getting closer, you see that it's got several decks. And there's the plank getting to the across from where the dock is. And there's actually, you see people in not uniforms, but very similar outfits that are working and getting some stuff. So there is a significant crew that is working on the stuff. Most of them appear to be human. You don't see any like other. You don't see many. There's not gnomes or dwarves or anything like that. But you see
Not very mixed race.
it's not very mixed race. But here's the other thing: you do see what appears to be an elf,
Mm.
and you see a dark skinned elf as well. And but like I said, with it mixed within the crew. So it's like I said, and it's mainly humans that are various skin tone humans, male and female, mainly male, but like I said, within the crew and stuff like that. But one of the other things that you notice as you get a little bit closer is that standing on the behind the wheel, kind of making sure you see what appears to be a sun elf, wearing this hat. It's kind of down. He's got a hand
Wow.
crossbow and a sword, rapier next to him, and he's like I said, he's got this big feathered off his hat, and he's just kind of barking out orders and things of that nature.
Mm. Okay.
Does he look like Captain or does he look like number
He
one?
looks like the first mate, as
Okay.
you're pretty sure that Leto is the
Number
captain.
one.
And he's talking to a large half orc with one hand that is actually a hook with like a
Badass.
pirate
Of course, there's a hook for this
Yes.
guy.
with a
Pirate adventure.
with the hat with the bandana, reddish bandana, and you can overhear him talking about yes, the food, and he's got an apron on, clearly the cook on the
Oh
ship.
my god, I love him. I love him.
He doesn't have a peg leg, does he?
No, he does not.
Okay.
No, that's the hook.
The hook.
So Bryn would kind of be like looking around, and she would be ready to kind of get to helping. And she would go up to this dude with the chapeau and just kind of
Chapeau.
introduce herself and
So
ask where she can help.
so as you start making what, you're stopped.
Yeah.
You're stopped in from, and she's like, "That's Matt. We've got the guests here." Ah, and he walks down, and he's looking at you and goes, "May I ask who you might be? I don't believe you are on the registry for
Oh.
our guest list."
We are guests of the captain, Lido.
Ah,
I'm Brynn, that's Aviro, and that's Glastoc. We're here to offer our services.
yes, the bodyguards of the ship, so to speak. And he looks over and he calls out, Jasper, what are the hell? And suddenly this head kind of pops out of a human male in his 20s, dressed in a nice sailor's cloth. He's got a smile on his face, and kind of a twinkle in his eye. And he's like,
So
"This
jolly.
first mate, yes, I'm right here." Oh, and he clearly is trying to be, mimicking the captain, Captain Leto, but just not as good. Not as good.
Mhm.
It's like, yes,
That's
Crow.
amazing.
First mate, Crow. What can I do for you? These are the bodyguards of the ship for our voyage. Yes, Captain Leto mentioned them. Yes, show them to their quarters and let them know that give them the tour. The tour? Yes, the tour. Okay,
Can I do
sir.
a sense motive? Can I do a sense motive check on the tour?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love the tour. So I'm just gonna roll perception
Yep,
and then
roll
you decide,
perception.
Jay, is that all right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. That's a
It's
28.
Okay.
Don't love the tone.
Yeah. The tour.
Yes, the tour.
You're pretty sure that the tour is to give you information about the ship and certain areas where you are allowed and not allowed to go.
Okay. Good. All right, so that's Brynn keeps that to
You're
herself.
pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a 28 sure.
Yeah, you're 28, sure. That
I
yeah.
had to put a number on it.
Yep.
Okay.
And he's like, all right, and he's like, yes, yes, come with me. Come with me. Yes, 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 I'll show you. And he starts showing you the ship. And like I said, people are kind of working around. And Brynn, you're familiar. Brynn's very, very familiar with the process of the ship and everyone's working in unison and making sure that they're doing well. Um, and
Aviro is actively trying to avoid being in anybody's way,
Yeah.
which is hard because there's a lot of
There's a
commotion going
lot of
on.
people.
There's a lot of
He's
stuff
like
going around.
always spinning
And if you look in roll 20, you're going to see the Dusk by Dawn.
Dusk by dawn or dusk till dawn?
It's Dusk by
Dusk
Dawn.
by Dawn.
Dusk by dawn.
Is the name of the ship.
Cool.
And
Cool.
and as you are on here, he kind of points out that the up here is where the main deck is, like the main
Up deck.
up deck. The main deck here. This is a room that is let me pull my notes up because that would be kind of entertaining. This is the dining room. So he points
Cool.
out that this is where the dining room is going to be, and there's access from the main here. There's also access to the below deck. So from the dining room, you also know that there is stairs going down here to the lower decks where your rooms are going to be. You know that this area is kind of off limits. This is where some crew members are and stuff like that. Probably different. And as you get the you notice that, like I said, it's got a cargo opening where cargo is being dropped in and stuff. And it's a 3-mast ship. Very nice, very, very carved. I mean, this was some money was put into the craftsmanship of the ship. And as you get down into the lower the main deck, as you kind of walk in, you notice that there are several stairs kind of going to different locations, some more going down, some are kind of going up. There's various of rooms. And as you get to this main deck here, you notice that this hall is where all the rooms are. And you know that this number 3 area is the cargo. That's one of the things as he's kind of showing you is like, this is where the cargo hold is. These are the rooms for the guests and passengers and yourself. And one of the things that you are given is he kind of looks and is all of you, Brynn, you're going to have a room by yourself.
Yay!
Yes, you're going to have a room
I'm a
by yourself.
lady.
You're a lady. The other two are going to, you get to share a room of bunk. And for purposes,
Wouldn't be the first time.
These first 2 rooms are yours. Brynn, you get the small little one, and then this one right here is
Glastoc and Aviro.
I'll take the broom closet if it's my broom closet.
And as you know that, like I said, there's other, and as you start going, you hear voices from different. Some people are in their rooms at the time, and then there seem to be waiting for some guests that are potentially as it's starting to get dark, as dusk is starting to settle. And then he brings you down, and he kind of lets you know that the below deck, the lower deck, is where all the staff, like all the crew sleep. So that's where kind of this crew is down there. And then there's bilges, but no one goes down to the bilge. And one of the things that you start noticing as you're getting on this tour, there's some storage areas. There is the first mate, and he points out that these are the first mate crew and the quartermaster's quarters are over here. So be aware of that. Like I said, all the guest quarters and guest rooms and things of that nature. The other thing is when you finish starting the tour, he brings you up. There are a few rules on the ship, and Captain Lido will probably reinforce them with you, but the tour, and this is where part of the end of the tour comes in. You are not to be You may interact with the guests as much as you would like. You may not enter any of the guest rooms without the captain's specific orders. There is
What?
absolutely no hostilities amongst guests and crew. The number one rule on this ship is safety. Everyone is safe and no one can attack anyone else, or they forfeit immediate transport.
Oh my god, they just chuck you in the drink?
That has happened before, yes. That is the number one rule. Everyone cannot be combative to anyone else, no matter
I
what.
look I look concerned at Glastoc. Mainly
Look,
on my own behalf. Like,
look, if this was the Star Wars campaign and it was my Jawa, I would agree with you.
yeah, no,
But
no. I'm worried about me. I'm like, I'm
oh,
gonna need some guidance from Dad here.
oh, okay.
So, like, yeah.
Can I ask a stupid question?
No stupid questions, but please ask.
Okay, so we've been hired to protect
Yeah.
people?
Ship?
The ship
All of it?
Okay,
from any attacks.
but specifically people? Like I guess that's one of the things. Like, is it because he's transporting cargo or is it because he's transporting people?
Both.
Oh,
Ooh, okay,
we're just bodyguards on this
all right.
ship.
You're trying to protect the people that are being transported as well as the ship.
Okay,
Because you're
all right.
sailing and you could potentially be attacked by pirates, by
Right,
sea
no,
creatures, things of that nature.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
no, I didn't know if this was like a bodyguard mission versus a, just transporting goods and
Yeah.
protecting.
You're protecting the ship from everything.
Okay, just
Yes.
no matter what. Okay.
Yeah, no matter. Aviro.
Yes, Captain, we agree to your terms. Where do we sign the contract?
And the first mate, or excuse me, the quartermaster that is there, he's like, the contract is word of mouth.
Oh no. Oh no. Word of mouth. That's far too easy to
Your word is your
amend,
bond.
change, and or break.
No, your word is your bond on this ship.
So what you're saying is I should write up the contract. I'll get right on it.
If you would like to write up a contract, you're more than welcome to. That's never been asked that question. We always find that the specifics on as guests upon this ship of transport, they go through a specific rules. They are also they must abide by rule number 1 of no combat and
Hiccups.
or hostilities towards each other.
Yes, of course. No antagonism. Understood. Yes.
We have a very
Question.
unique clientele that we are.
Question.
Yes.
In that situation, can you defend yourself?
Well, yes, definitely.
Okay.
You can defend yourself.
You can't. You see, there's a difference between no hostilities and defending yourself.
Yes, but
no hostilities means no hostilities, regardless.
No instigation.
But
no initiation.
No initiation. Our guests are very. Shall I put this? They understand the rules, and they will not. They understand that if they break those rules, they will no longer be on the ship. And there is they've committed to those rules. And to
Are
break
we
those
considered
rules,
guests?
yes, in a way.
Brynn would ask
Yes.
in secret speech, which I assume is similar to Thieves' Cant.
Yes.
Would kind of find a way to ask, what kind of people are these?
Like all you get back is special guests.
Okay.
So Aviro has been mage handing
Mm-hmm.
duplicate copies of this contract, which state out all above in the above rules that we have discussed and agree to abide by. He therefore signs and signs both copies and hands one to the quartermaster to sign as the representative of the.
I will have to give this to the first mate and Captain Lido. So I will have it signed and return it back to you.
Triplicate.
my god, I love you, Jeff.
Yes, no problem. Here, we will
I'm
be
assuming he
giving.
then hands one to Glastoc and Brynn also.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's the same.
We each get a copy.
Yeah, that's
And he's
For
like,
your records.
yeah.
we'll be set sailing in about an hour. Dinner will be in 2 hours, 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours. You're welcome to join us in the dining hall at that point, and but make yourself as comfortable. Our guests will be arriving shortly. The final our guests will be arriving shortly, and yes, thank you for coming aboard.
One last question, good sir.
By all means.
How far away from the shoreline will we be?
Several miles.
So
We won't hit
let's
deep
see.
sea, but we won't hit. We'll be well off the coast.
All right. Thank you.
I would like get near Aviro and be like, "You all right?"
Fine, thanks. Just swell.
Oh, and Bryn would like know where that little like vial of Dramamine is in his pocket, and she would just like lick it twice and just be like, "Don't forget, in a pinch."
Now, do you drink the whole thing or just
A half
Half.
dose at a time.
Yes, all right.
And if that doesn't do the job, then the whole thing.
Thank you.
Welcome. And I would go into my broom closet and get comfy. Is there a hammock in here?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I love a hammock.
Mhm.
Oh, and Bryn would lay in it and just kind of be like, "Oh, like this is very nice." She hasn't slept in a hammock.
Takes her
in a while.
back.
Yeah, it does.
It feels very
exactly.
familiar.
Exactly. And just like the smells and the sounds and the creaking and the waves up against the side of the boat. It is all very familiar and comforting.
Aviro opens the door to their room. There's no ensuite. We're supposed to do our business.
That's when
Well,
Glastoc.
you are lucky. You get to go up and do it over the side of the ship.
No, there's a
Glastoc
room.
looks
There's
at-
a room. You're
It's
showing where
like
the
Glastoc-
pivy is.
Glastoc
You
grabs
can
the
go up
bucket
and
in
do
the
it over the
corner and
side.
pushes it towards Aviro and then
He
just
just kinda-
walks out.
Slides it with his foot.
Yeah, just
Yep.
There's one in the room, and there is a private room in the back area. One of the it's got a door to it that
Mhm.
because it's
Aviro
luxury.
make sure to know where that is.
Yes. There's also a room that potentially for a bath.
Oh my god.
Say what?
There's a bath.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I would definitely go down once I'm like comforted. Maybe I'd take like a half-hour nap. And then I go and I would check in with the dude that's in charge of the baths, and I want to schedule one for like dusk. Or well, I guess a little later after dinner.
So right here in the back is where the pivy is.
Okay.
Privé.
Pivy. And then you can smell what food coming from here. So you're pretty sure that's the kitchen area back
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
The bath. This little room right here, right next to the
Mhm.
pivy, there's a small room that just has a bath. And you're
Okay.
pretty sure like the quartermaster waves a
Mhm.
wand and creates water. And it's this warm temperature water to be
Nice.
able to
Awesome.
create this nice bath.
I want to line one up for after dinner.
Okay.
Save my spot.
Aviro is right behind you.
So as you get relaxed, you're getting in, kind of getting your gear.
I see glass. I can imagine Aviro standing outside the door while Brynn is there with a towel wrapped over his hand and like a
and a
robe,
brush. And a brush.
just waiting for his turn.
Shower cap.
Yeah. With a shower.
And because of his exact time spell, he'd be like, Like,
Yep.
Brynn,
You hear Brynn
Brynn.
from inside, don't rush me. This is all later. This is later.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh my god.
It's amazing.
So the night, what you realize is that the dusk comes, the sun
Sorry.
sets. Oh god, no, that was perfect. So the sun sets and it starts to get dark. And what's interesting is after it gets dark, about an hour after, then the ship starts to sail. It starts leaving port in the dark, and the lights are on and everything else. And as you start, you feel the motion of the water and the sailing. Brynn, this feels so nice. But different for you is you have your own cabin. You have a hammock, but you're in. There's a bed there too, but there's a hammock. But you're used to being the below deck, and this is luxury. This is definitely luxury. And
Very nice.
and as
It's a luxury hammock.
it is
Yeah.
it is a luxury hammock as well.
No holes in
1,000
it.
thread count hemp.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't smell like piss.
No extra holes in it.
No extra holes in it.
Yeah, right.
Right. And over the course of time, you hear voices, some voices and some not voices, kind of walking down, and crew members kind of walking down, and you hear a child's voice as well as different voices at different time, male and female throughout. And as like I said, an hour or two kind of goes, and you kind of hear this ding ding ding, and you know it's the dinner bell. Like it's time
Nice.
for dinner. And it's like I said, over about 2 hours in. Do you like immediately go, or do you kind of take your time to get up there?
I would pretty immediately go. I would tidy myself up a little bit and leave my stuff in my cabin and go.
What
It
about
depends entirely on the state of my queasiness. Do I need to make a constitution
give me
roll?
a constitution roll just for
Feels
fun?
like a con check. Yeah.
There's no way to roll that, huh?
You could use
I guess I just
fortitude.
rolled.
Fortitude save. Yeah, it's a fortitude
That's
save.
probably
Roll your fortitude save.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
now fortitude. Fortitude, reflex, or will.
Interesting.
It's
Will.
now
'Cause
what it is.
That's interesting because my con says +2, but my fortitude is +10.
Because you're an
Yeah,
expert.
because you're
It's-
level.
Yeah,
And
because
it's
you're
No,
level
because I'm
efficiency.
trained. I'm just trained in fortitude.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
anyway, 23.
23.
Ew,
Yeah, you're not
that's how
sick.
fortuitous.
Yeah, you don't get sick. It's a
Okay.
little unrocky, but yeah, you're fine with it.
Okay.
Reminds you of, so Brynn, you're kind of going up right away. Glastoc and Aviro, when do you head up?
yeah.
Relatively? Okay.
Same.
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
We probably knock on Brynn's door and
Okay.
Brynn.
And
The
as
door
you
creaks open just a little bit. She's gone already.
Oh, well then.
and
She's already there.
coming up behind you, one of the doors opens up, and you see this beautiful young Cheliax looking woman in her late 20s, with this long black hair with olive colored skin, and she's just and she kind of comes off and kind of shuts the door and sees you and just says this and gives you a smile as she kind of walks
Ooh.
looking
Aviro.
at both of you. And then one of the other doors kind of open kind of midway, and this couple kind of bounces out the door and kind of smashes into the wall as they are just handsy with each other. Literally, you would think they are making out like in the hallway. Like they kind of door bursts open and they kind of collapse each other. And she's like, oh yes. And his hands are all over her. Her hands are all over him. It's clear they appear to be like a couple in love, maybe on their honeymoon. Like
Amazing.
they're that type of like, you get that sense of that like that presence. One is half elven. The male is half elven, and the female is human, who has very long blonde hair, kind of put in. He has shorter black hair, looks very, very fit. and they're wearing very nice, like aristocratic clothing, like high nobles. And she, like I said, she's very dressed in a very nice dress. And like I said, they are just their hands on each other the entire time. And they weren't even paying attention to you. And they kind of notice this woman, oh, so sorry, as they kind of close the door and they're like, they didn't notice anyone that they were bothering anyone until they start work.
Enthralled.
Yeah. And
Aviro was very conspicuously averting his gaze.
and both of them start walking up the stairs toward, behind you as you're going to the what's the word I'm looking for, to the dining room. Brynn, you're already up there,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but you are not alone.
Sure.
Someone else is sitting there, and that is in a corner seat.
Mhm.
You see a very, actually, give me a perception check
Okay.
on how well you
14.
14. There is a very charming and attractive male sitting at the table with a wine glass of red liquid in front of him, wine, and he has just this very, very nice kind of clothing on, not aristocratic, and he's just sitting there and he's just looking and he's just very, very calm. Pale skin slightly, based off, it's very hard to see in the, but slightly pale skin, very nice manicured black goatee,
Oh yeah.
and he's just kind of sitting at the table, just reminiscing, and people are, and he's just taking in the surroundings as you sit down, and a moment too later, Aviro and Glastoc comes in, and followed by this couple that cannot keep their hands off each other. Like, he has his hands on her waist and she has her hands on his ass as they're walking up.
I'm looking at this couple and be like, oh, must be the honeymoon.
And then
And,
after that, this gorgeous female woman sits at her own table. The couple kind of sits in their own table.
Oh. And as soon as Brynn would already have her food and she's just sort of eating it, and as Glastoc and Aviro make their way over, I assume we sit together. And as they make their way over, I'd be like, I think I figured out what makes all these guests so special. They're all hot. Hot to trot. Look at them. Look at that one over there. You can go ahead and look. It's not going to burn the eyes out of your head, Aviro. Look at them. It's like looking at art.
And you suddenly
Salt
get
pork is delicious.
the male in the corner isn't even looking at you, but you get the sense he's smirking for a second after you make that comment.
Well, it's a compliment.
About this
just
time,
kind of like chuckling and eating.
A woman comes up. It comes up with what appears to be a small child. She has some like armor. She's like almost like alchemist type stuff, all like wearing on her item, like not like almost like armor, but like whatever she's wearing. There's definitely a bandolier, and there's like little gadgets of alchemy stuff, and she's got a big pouch that has
Vials
this
and-
vial. Yeah, and then clearly she's bringing her child. She's like, come on, and she's kind of coming up and kind of sits at a table and it's like, yeah, and she's like, yeah, what would you like? And we've got many food, and she's kind of like making sure that her child is getting fed, and they bring food, So
How old is the kid? Toddler?
I would say between 10 and 12.
Okay. Oh, that's yeah.
Actually, let me take that back. Between 8 and 12. I would say.
Still,
so still a toddler. I mean, a little bit older. I mean, she looks like she would be like a halfling size, but she
grade
looks
school.
like, yeah, but she's
Grade school.
yeah, very much so. And the clearly the woman, uh, motherly role is talkative, but not too talkative, and the child is not talkative very much. It's just she's kind of eating, but doing more observing than anything else.
Bryn
And
is just eating and looking around and looking for more hotties and just enjoying. What are we
Looking for
eating?
more hotties.
and
To
the first
more proof that this is clearly hot ship,
Right.
and
and
that's yeah.
This
and
is the love
Love
boat.
Island.
love
This
it's
is
Love
with the
Island, it's Love at Sea.
boats.
And then
We'll be
Crow, the
making
first mate,
another run.
and Leto come in. And they come in, it's like, ah, my friends, my guests, welcome to the ship. We are set sailing. Everything is on schedule. We have no issues. Whether we will be running into sounds like some weather issues later on our trip, but by all means, we will take precautions and hopefully no issues from that. Might be a few in a day or two, might be a little rain based off of some of the predictions that we have, but all is good. I hope the accommodations have been made for you. And Bryn and
Yeah.
and Aviro, if you want to give, I would say a lore, sailing lore, and or um academic, yeah, a lore check would
I
probably
have a
be
question.
yes,
Do we have hero points in this new
yes,
game
yes,
that
you
we're playing?
do.
We have one per session,
One
right?
per
That we
session
get to
so
use
far.
or lose.
Yes.
I'll go ahead and use it on this.
Okay.
I want to make sure I make a good lore sailing roll.
All right.
Well, I had an 18 on the die for a 32.
Okay.
God damn it. Still isn't that good. I got a 17. Good for you,
Okay.
you rough and tumble.
I read
Aviro,
about boats once.
you're pretty sure, based off of like the clientele here, you may have heard about some luxury liners. This is several hundred gold piece. Like each of them are paying out the nose to be on this ship.
Does the food reflect that? Like, are we eating like
Yes.
really nice? It's not just like
Yes.
gruel in a dish.
No,
It's
this
like
is like the
lobster bisque with
this is like
with
top
lemon
shelf.
sauce.
This is top shelf restaurant catering. Like
Is there like
There-
fine linen on the
Oh, yeah.
tables with?
Oh yeah.
oh yeah. Very much
Very
so.
much like that scene in Titanic.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Very much like that.
Gold
And-
plated utensils, the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There is not there is not a piece of silver in sight.
Motherfuck. Oh god. It's no.
And Aviro, you
Oh.
make the very distinction.
Jay, I hate you.
There is not everyone here is human or elven or this is a
Ugh.
monster ship.
Oh my god.
This is a ship that transports monsters.
Fudge. Fudge.
And
Yeah.
season 3 is to a rocket star.
You all can
Brynn is-
hear Aviro's heart beating faster.
At which point, the gentleman in the corner turns over to Aviro as if he heard his heart beating and turns back.
Hey, Aviro.
Yes.
Looks like you might have a gentleman cola. I don't know which way you swing, but good luck.
And Bryn,
He just squeaks.
and then you notice Aviro, and then it dawns on you with that you rolled a 17, right?
Oh yeah.
With hero points, you get a reroll, or I'm trying to remember.
It's like advantage.
Okay. Was that so? So you rolled twice, or did you roll?
I rolled twice, and that was my better.
Okay. So you get a little bit of this, but then something. You say that, and then you turn over, and then something clicked. Like, wait a second. That's not. You notice that the cup in front of him isn't wine; it's blood.
Oh. Right. Okay. Glastoc. Glastoc. Glastoc.
Yes, yeah.
Everybody here is something else.
Vero squeaks again.
So Glasslock's kind of looking around now. So Jay,
Yes.
because I have, well, okay. So because
The
of
hell do they
my,
need us for?
because I have an angelic background
Yes.
as my sorcerer bloodline,
Mhm.
would I be?
You
So I guess the
wouldn't
question,
know specifically if they're
right?
undead,
Okay,
but
yeah, that's kind of what I was
yeah,
getting
you
at.
wouldn't specifically know that they're undead, but give me a perception check.
15.
You don't smell the decay of undead.
Hmm.
You do smell perfumes,
Right.
Okay.
but you
They're masking
realize
it.
That's also just
there's
posh people.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
true.
that's posh people, definitely. But you're kind of like, there's just something not right.
Not right. Okay.
Not right. And Aviro, you've heard legends or you've heard whispers and tomes about how monsters and the undead, the the civilized monsters get around, that there are transports that transport monsters from one to the realm, that they're specialized and unique and elite expensive modes of transportation. And you're 99% sure every guest here is something that is a monster in some way or shape or form.
Mhm.
Potentially.
I would.
But here's the thing. You think everyone is, but there's a few things that are not. The couple, they are not. Like that's completely weird. And you're realizing that they're like nobility and there's certain connections that nobility might have to jump on ships like this.
Mhm.
So they might be
Okay.
escaping from something.
Okay.
The
Oh, so
daughter
they're
and
like
the
star-crossed lovers. Their parents didn't want them together. That's oh my god. I know it.
and then the alchemist and her child, that's another one that's a little weird. So unless they're escaping something or she's a mad scientist of some sort, like evil, that's because you don't have a monster, quote unquote monster terms doesn't necessarily mean monster. It could be any anyone, evil, anything in the background. But again, it's transport generally for monsters, but anyone can be transported if they abide by the rules. And you know, with that 30, the number one rule, you don't uh, you don't combat, not you don't attack each other.
Because they turn. They fucking. I would lean
And
to
that is the
Glastoc
only
and I'd be like,
why this monster things can work, is that it's a specific rule that everyone abides by.
It is
Because
the only reason Aviro has not bolted down to his room and stayed there for the rest of his journey is because
Yeah.
he signed a
and
contract.
there is
Yeah.
the
they
reason
all
why
abide
these
by too.
work, these particular transportations work, every monster that uses them has a specific understanding, because if they don't, they are blacklisted and will
Mhm.
Oh,
and potentially destroyed if they break that rule.
I would lean to Glastoc and be like, well, what the hell did they need us for?
Probably so that it doesn't become apparent what they are. Think about it. If the
So
ship
they
gets
just
attacked and they have to use any of their abilities that are not natural and that gets out, then Lido becomes, all of a sudden his ship becomes a target.
then why doesn't this ship have house enforcers? What do they need us for?
Aviro,
You would think if this is part of what they do all the time, they would have a regular
Aviro,
militia on board.
Aviro,
Hero, you are
that's what you
terrible
got
at whispering.
hired for. You finally dawn on you're like, oh, the guests don't use their abilities. They're not there. They're just
I
guests.
know, that's but
You're
you
the
would
ones
think that
being
an
hired to defend
establishment
it.
whose business it is to make these people transport, they
cheaper.
would have they wouldn't need to hire people. They would already have them.
Freelancing is cheaper. It's the way of the world.
And
This is
Aviro,
a luxury liner. Why are they doing cutting
I'm
costs?
sure nothing will happen. I'm sure nothing will happen. It'll be fine.
He squeaks.
and
Just a
Aviro,
standpoint.
Yeah.
every one of the crew knows.
Of course, everyone in the crew knows.
Yeah. They know exactly what they're doing, and they have no
course.
qualms about it.
Oh, of
We'll
course.
just pray for a smooth sailing then, and you know, and Brynn would just kind of like shrug and keep eating, and well, and finish her drink in like one slug, and then be like, I wonder if there's any late night gambling, eh? I mean, these rich fucks have to do something for fun, right?
And
and yeah, go ahead.
Leto's in there having dinner, the first mate, and the captain is making his rounds. Like he goes to the woman, and she's just like, "Oh yes," and just this absolutely stunning, beautiful woman, and she's having the conversation, talks with her, and is like, and then goes over to the alchemist and her child, and it, very nicely goes with the child. The child kind of interacts a little bit, and just kind of, and he gives her some candy that he had, and speaks to the gentleman. And Leto is definitely Leto's always the charmer, but Leto's charm is like full on tilt, like been turned up. And when he talks to the gentleman, he sits down and they have this long conversation, and it's just this nice, and it's an equal footing. You get the impressions, like I said, there's an equal footing of conversations. There's definitely there is no like from Leto, he's control of his ship, and he has because of that there's and because of the specific rules that are in set, he has no issues about being scared or anything like that. And it's very and he almost has like a familiarity with this particular gentleman, like they've spoken before. It's very clear that that gentleman has used the transport before, and it's like welcome back, and that conversation.
Repeat customer.
Yeah,
The
very much.
familiarity of a repeat customer. Yeah.
The women, the honeymoon couple are hands, they're feeding each other, and he basically spends a minute or two with them, and it's like, thank you for coming aboard, welcome, let us know.
We have this complimentary bottle of bubbly for you.
And and it's
I've been on a honeymoon. I know how it goes.
And they're very much, like I said, you could tell that they were the honeymoon. And then Leto comes up to you, it's like, and says, my friends, welcome. I hope you were enjoying the wonderful feast that we have. The duck was imported recently. Aviro, you look a little green. Everything okay?
He just squeaks an affirmative.
Oh.
Yes.
Brynn,
yes.
are you okay?
In secret speech, I share with Leto that Aviro has realized what kind of a cruise this is.
Oh.
And he's a little nervous.
No worries. Everything is good. If you don't have to come out of your cabin, if you don't need to, only if there's emergency necessary, you're free to walk the deck anytime you'd wish. But again, this is a job. Your main job is to protect the ship from any incursions from sea, any attacks or anything like that, to ensure that nothing gets damaged, and ward off any intruders or pirates or things of that nature. You don't have to worry about anything within the ship itself. You don't have to mingle with the guest if you don't wish to. It's completely. Most of them stay in their cabin.
But speaking of mingling with the guests, what do
yes.
people do for fun around here?
Oh,
yeah, is there Is there like an entertainment salon or like a lounge room?
The dining area after dinner converts into a
Ah,
lounge area where
Cool.
people can play games or
Awesome.
whatever they would like to do.
That is what I would like.
Most guests stay in their room during
Oh.
the trip.
I want to just chill with the crew. I don't want to talk to the guests anyway.
Okay. Down below, there's always something going on.
That's where I want to be.
Yes.
That's where I want to be.
course.
Yes. Yes.
Of course.
Yeah,
So
Hanging out with the
so
crew.
hanging out with the crew.
smile, and I just I chat with Tito for a little while.
So he's chatting with Lito. Any other conversations kind of going on the cruise?
Vero is silent.
Oh.
He squeaks on occasion.
Yeah.
Any other conversational topics? Anything like from Glastoc or Brynn?
Not from Glastoc. He's like now that he kind of has a bearing of what's going on, he's more worried about the fact because of his spells and bloodlines.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, he's not 100% sure how everything works, but he does know that some of them have a very bad effect on undead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
No problem.
so yeah, he's just gonna be laying low.
Okay. And in the course of the, like I said, the dinner kind of comes. You do notice, Glastoc. Your perception checks from earlier. What was your you had a 17 earlier or 13? I can't remember.
Mine was a 15.
15.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brynn was
14, something like
14. Okay. Yeah, you're kind of overwhelmed by some of the stuff that kind of happened at dinner, and as course dinner kind of ends, and everyone kind of eventually gets up, and the gentleman and the madam, which is that the beautiful and just very very stunning woman with dark black hair is referred to as the madam. And then you have the alchemist and his daughter or her daughter. You have the married couple, and then you have the
the vampire. I mean, no, I mean the
It's the
strong,
vampire.
pale
The
gentleman.
Count,
I was gonna say the count,
Count.
but no, you're just gonna
the
say
Baron.
the gentleman, the
gentleman.
gentleman.
I love him. Okay.
And so after the food is the gentleman and the madam kind of stay, and they end up after dinner. You notice that they start talking to each other as ever.
They're gonna make beautiful monster babies.
Actually, if I'm trying to remember if it's religion, there's no religion scale in here, is there?
Yeah, there is.
You could select a lore that is. Oh yeah, there is. There's a
There's a
religion.
religion. No, there's a religion.
I'm trying to remember what the skill recall knowledge. Yes, it's a recall knowledge roll. Anyone can make a recall knowledge roll based off of either religion or a lore.
Academia lore?
Sure. Yeah, academic lore is going to be pretty much your go-to on everything.
Okay, so 17.
Okay.
I use religion.
Yeah.
Then.
Mm-hmm. Religion. And this is
One. So I got a 12.
A nat 1?
A nat 1.
Hey, mark it down.
Woo!
Well, that was bound to happen sooner or later.
Yep.
It's our namesake.
So
Kim got a nat 1.
I heard. I'm sorry.
yeah, Glastoc,
don't know shit.
You don't know shit of this, but Aviro, you get the impression that not everyone here is undead.
Glastoc is taking over
Glastoc,
right now, as
you
opposed to this world Glastoc.
yeah, this Glastoc, you're like, you get the sense the gentleman is undead. You just get this
Yeah.
you suddenly get into a stereotypical like he's got to be undead. He's got to be undead. And wait a minute, they're gonna make undead babies? No, that woman's not.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. He's just like, um, but as you're you finish dinner, and what do you want to do after dinner?
Book it to your room.
I would go down to frickin' steerage.
Okay.
Aviro books to his room and shuts the door and
What does
stays there.
Glastoc do?
I think Glastoc would just like he'd kind of hang out up top
Okay.
simply because he wants to be, because that's what we're supposed to be doing is guarding the ship.
Mm-hmm.
It's like making it look like that's what he's doing.
Okay.
And this way he is also trying to stay away from the guests.
Okay.
So.
All right. And as Vera, you get to your room, Brynn, you're going to head downstairs. We're going to take a quick 3-minute break, and we'll be right back, everyone, with what happens this evening. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. everyone! Welcome back! We are back to continue our wonderful adventures upon the sea. What monstrous voyage that the GM has put them in. Dusk till dawn, or excuse me, dusk by dawn.
Dusk by dawn.
Mhm.
Should
Now
have
the
known.
name makes sense.
Should have known. Why it only
Yep.
sails at night too.
Yeah. Oh fuck! I just realized that. So much
Oh
sense.
yes. So as you finish dinner and Aviro runs to his room, Glastoc sticks around for a little bit and just relaxes and
Goes up top.
Aviro walks quickly. He doesn't run because he's trying to look nonchalant, but he's
Yep.
But he's like
failing.
walking down the hallway. Is like, good evening, good evening,
Good
good evening.
He does the same thing unless someone says something to him.
Yes.
And Glastoc, you notice that there's a skeleton crew on top that's running. You know, like I said,
Is it a literal skeleton?
No.
Oh,
Well,
sorry.
you don't see us. Let me rephrase that.
Unless they're
It
in
is a
moonlight.
There's a
Monster
minimal amount of bodies.
There's
on
a
top
minimal
deck
amount of
to make sure the
individuals that
ship
look-
keeps running.
Of humans running the top of this crew. So as you're on top, you're doing that, kind of taking it in, and over the course of the evening, Brynn, you go down to the crew
Yeah.
quarters, and it is literally this long. And there's about 20 crew members, and right now there's probably about 15 down here.
Mhm.
Some are getting prepared to sleep, some are gambling, and they're having their drinks and stuff like that. And they kind of look at you and they're like, can we help you? What this is
Bryn just hefts her money pouch and says, "Got room for another?"
Yes. Is there any room at the table?
give me what roll?
Exactly what I do. I want to fucking play some
Um,
cards or dice or something.
Need a it's not a persuasion check. It is what role am I looking at?
Diplomacy?
Diplomacy?
Social, give me a society or diplomacy, whichever one you want.
Okay. I will give you diplomacy.
Okay.
Diplomacy is a 22.
Yeah, you charm them well enough that they recognize it, and they're like, well, this is a first, but please come in. And they kind of
Yes.
walk you in, and there's the cards. And are we cards or bones tonight? And at the word
Cards.
of bones, some of the guys chuckle, and some of the crew chuckle.
Of
I
course
chuckled.
they do.
I chuckle too.
Fuck
I'm
this
like,
thing.
how about we stick with cards?
Oh, okay.
Love them. This is
and-
exactly Bryn's scene.
Oh yeah. And you're playing cards, Brynn. I need a perception check.
Perception. Okay, here it comes. That's a nat effing 20, boys.
Oh my
Let's
God.
go for a total of 31.
Brynn, over the course of this, as you're playing, you're going to realize this about halfway through of playing. We'll determine how much you win in a second. But as some of them are getting, laying down, relaxing, and the guys that you're playing with,
Mhm.
during the game, their appearance shifts.
Okay.
Like it's as if there's magically cloaking what they are.
Okay. Okay.
And
Like,
for a
what is-
second, you saw a skeleton,
No.
and then it's back.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Brynn is too focused on the massive amount, hopefully, gold she is winning.
And all of them are wearing, and the one thing you notice, and all of them are wearing, have a pin.
What's the pin look like?
It's like Leto's signature, like
Like
Leto's
okay.
symbol, like
Seal.
his
Okay.
seal. And all of them, that's you now notice that all of them have that somewhere on their and their clothing. It's not a uniform, but all the clothing are very, very similar.
Okay. So the reason Brynn has noticed this is she's been watching everybody so intently for
Oh,
like
yeah.
tells and like
Yep.
poker face
Oh, yeah.
and stuff like that. And she kind of just pretends because none of these guys seem to like want to do her harm, so she's
No.
just like, you know what? It's coat of many colors. How much did I win?
And the thing is that gets you though,
Yeah.
these are not random. Like you notice that they're not smart, like
Okay.
highly intelligent crew members.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're not drones. Like they're not like just going through the motion. There's a little bit of intelligence in
Okay.
all of these crew, but it's not to the point of like high intelligence. They know how to play, they know how to do things. They're sentient, but they're
They have
not.
like a task.
They're very task oriented and they are sentient, but they're
Okay.
not, like I said, they're not high sentience. They're basically they're some of them are a little bit more sentient than the others. And those are the
Okay.
ones playing cards. That you realize the more sentients are playing cards. Like they've
All right.
developed, like
Yeah.
they've developed over time a little bit
They can
longer.
pull ropes and down the sails and play cards, and like that's
They
maybe
can
it.
do as they've been instructed.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and
Right.
and but there's a little bit of, like I said, there is a little bit of a sentience among them.
Okay.
But
Got
like I
it.
said, it's and but yeah, performance check or blood deception check would you like to
Okay.
make for your card play?
I'll make a deception check.
Okay. Oh,
That's
by the
a
way,
seven.
how much you betting over the course?
I'd be betting probably like I have a lot of gold.
Okay.
So I probably bet somewhere like I don't know 100 gold throughout the night.
Okay.
And I got a 17 deception check.
Right. Well, they got a 21. So
So
you lost a little bit of money.
Okay.
And we're gonna go
that you
with,
gained a lot of knowledge.
I sure
oh
did.
yeah. You lost 81 gold
Oh,
out
oh,
of the 100 that you played.
that's a little bit, all right.
Yeah,
God
so
damn it.
whatever, like something, like there was
So much for
one
that nat
hand.
20.
There was one
Jesus.
hand that you were like, you thought you're gonna win, but all of a sudden one of them dropped like 4 aces.
That's what you get for knowing 3 fucking things. You know them really well, apparently.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Damn it.
and that was
Okay.
like when you like at that point you realized like all this knowledge of like, yeah, there is a reason why they're so comfortable doing that stuff. And then
No,
tomorrow
they
when you
don't have
start
it.
watching them, they're you realize now that they accept commands well and they do
Very
them tasks well, but there's a little bit of independent thought, but not a lot.
okay. So yeah, at this point I would just sort of eat my losses and I would just be like, "All right, well, this has been very pleasant,
Mhm.
everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening." And Bryn would pretty briskly go back to her cabin.
And Bryn, as you're going back to your cabin, Glastoc and Aviro, you're in the cabin, in your cabin.
Surprise!
And Bryn, Glastoc and Glastoc and Aviro has been hearing this. Actually, Glastoc, when did you come back to your cabin? After an hour, 2 hours?
Yeah, after a couple of hours.
Okay, after a couple
You know,
hours.
just to get the, like, when you're on the top deck,
Mhm.
he because he's not familiar with being on a ship,
Okay.
so he'd be looking, like, if certain things were happening, like
Okay.
where's a bad spot to be standing,
Got it.
like where are there ropes, where is there
Okay.
rigging,
Mhm.
where,
And the thing you notice, this is a nicely crafted ship. There is indoor. There's like in
he wouldn't know.
squirrels on, but there's just it feels
Yeah,
elegant
no, yeah,
and very top notch, and the ropes are very fine, and like
Mhm.
I said, it's a
Silk
very
ropes.
the weather is nice. The clouds are it's not a very cloudy sky evening. It's a
Right.
very nice evening. Um, and how many hours is of Bryn down below? About the same amount that Glastoc.
Bryn would only return like very late. I
Okay.
would say, yeah, same-ish time as
Okay.
Glastoc.
Glastoc, you're gonna get there a little earlier than Bryn, but and both of you hear this, but Aviro has been hearing this for hours. But as you get towards your cabin, all you are hearing from the couple's
Stop.
room
Stop it.
is
Stop it.
hours upon hours of noise and vocals and just this constant honeymoon bliss. I mean,
he's got like fabric stuffed in his ears.
and it is not quiet. It is loud.
Oh,
And
that's
Brynn
amazing.
and Glastoc, when you return to your rooms, trying to get a little bit of sleep, enough sleep for the morning, it goes on all night long.
Of course it does.
I need a fortitude save, please.
Oh my god,
Oh my
incredible,
God.
incredible. Can I have advantage because I've been drinking a good amount?
There's no real advantage, but I will give you a
Getting good
plus
sleep?
2 to your roll.
Okay, good.
How much longer are we going to play?
We're gonna be 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'm going to use my hero point.
Okay.
Atta boy. I got a
I'm gonna use my hero
27
point.
fortitude.
Okay.
Just to be safe.
Okay.
The
Actually, I'm not going to use my
21.
hero point. I'm gonna not,
Okay.
because not only is Avero terrified of where he is, but now he's also got this that's going on. So
Uh-huh.
15.
That's going on.
I got a 31.
Okay. Brynn and Glastoc, you like, yeah, whatever, and you just fall asleep. You're not worried about your surroundings. Aviro, you wake up and you hear this, and you're like, oh, and you go back to sleep. So no issue. You make your good amount of sleep that you need, but it is all night long.
All night long.
There's a break or two, but then you think it's done, and then it starts
It's
back up
not.
again.
It's not.
It is so annoying, but yeah.
Incredible.
And
That is
as
amazing.
the sun comes up and you know that there is breakfast, lunch, and dinner scheduled
Mhm.
at different times and foods and stuff like that. And yeah, so the sun kind of starts to come up, and your first day of traveling is yeah.
Avero takes all his meals in his cabin.
Jesus.
Based off of this, Aviro, after the night, I need a fortitude save, please. Actually, everyone, I need a fortitude save. I have
Another one?
Fortitude.
Actually, let me take
16.
that. We'll keep it. So yeah, give me one more. Everyone, give me a quick fortitude save.
17.
17, 16.
21.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Um. Okay, I'm just looking at some stuff. Okay. So the morning comes. It's relatively cloudy. It's a little bit sunny in the morning, but then you see some clouds coming in that are kind of moving in as you're from the port, or excuse me, port, as you're kind of sailing. So it's kind of coming from the deep sea. It looks like a storm's probably going to hit tonight, but nothing too terrible. But it's starting to get cloudy and stuff like that. But breakfast, you go up for breakfast, and as time, you will see that um the madam is up there having breakfast. She's comes late to breakfast. The alchemist and her child are up there having breakfast, but the gentleman and the couple don't come for breakfast.
Like, well, they're exhausted.
Shocking.
And the gentleman is afraid of the sun. So, oh my god, incredible. Incredible.
What
Love
do you want
this.
to do for breakfast? The
Avero
first
gets
mason.
his to go.
Camaro,
to his
you
cabin.
You take it to the cabin.
I would stay and sit and people watch, and I kind of want to watch. So you said that the madam. Never mind. She came late? How does
She
she
came
look? Does she
gorgeous.
look like hungover or just
No,
perfect again?
she looked
Okay.
perfect. Perfect.
Okay. Incredible. Damn it.
But she's
Bryn
wearing a
secretly
different
wonders what
outfit.
her hair care regimen looks like.
She's wearing a different outfit. Not an evening gown, but it's just a nice, day dress, things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah, her hair looks beautiful.
So yeah, Bryn would just be people watching.
Mhm.
Does Glastoc come up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I'd be sitting with him and chatting a little bit.
Yep.
And I would at this point, Bryn would just kind of be like kind of looking for things to talk about, and one thing in particular pops into her head. And she would like look at Glastoc and be like, "So, not to keep you in suspense, the young man you saw me talking to the other day, the one that you cannot still tell Aviro about, please, until ready. Well, it's kind of a lot, Glastoc. He's my son, and I know he's 18, and he's about 18 probably by now, 19 maybe 20. And there's a reason that you and frickin' Aviro apparently both noticed. I
All of a
look a
sudden you
little,
see
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
At breakfast.
as soon as it makes contact with the table again, I would grab it and slide it to myself and take a drink and be like, I don't mean to be staring and just looking at both of you, but there was a time when I think you were both still stone that I wasn't. I lived I lived without you and everything for 10 years. And I didn't think I would ever see either of you again, and so you catch me staring, that's why. I
and
you both haven't changed a bit.
Glastock will hold his hand up and to get Bryn to stop for a second, and as he's looking at her, he's reflecting on the fact that they have quite a few of these little one-on-ones where Aviro's not around, so they obviously have a bond, through
Mhm. Mhm.
blood and combat and stuff. But when Glastock has always, I hate to use the term joked about Mama Bryn,
Mm. Mhm.
it's not because he's making fun of her, it's because that's her.
Mm.
She is, Glasslock's the grumpy old dad, but Bryn is the mama of the group. The way she treats Aviro, the way she talks to Glassstock, the way she
Mhm.
talks to Rocky. And so
Mhm.
he understands her emotions,
Mhm.
and he's just kind of looking at her like I get it. I know what you're trying to say. And if you can't, and then he says, if you can't explain it now, at some point you probably will. We're still, all three of us are dealing with this time paradox, these multiple bodies, these hopefully at some point all of it will make sense. And when it does, you want to talk, I'll be here.
And without like another heartbeat passing, Bryn like comes around the end of this table and like drops on her and just hugs Glastock. And he's like, I haven't been able to tell you guys how much I've missed either of you, and I haven't seen you in 10 years, and it's been so long. And
And,
and just kind of like you feel her like taking deep breaths.
yeah,
Like it's almost like it feels like the first deep breath she's taken in a long time.
feels like
And
home.
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
And
And
she, yeah.
and Glasslock just like lets it all happen. Like,
Hmm.
his shield, he drops his guard and lets Bryn in, and lets them fully share that moment. You
Hmm.
know, he's he understands to a point, where she's coming from, and wants to let it all out. So
And that's kind of where the conversation ends.
Breakfast goes without, like I said, any strange things. You do notice that the daughter at the end of your conversation and toward the end of breakfast, the daughters of the alchemist is looking at the two of you, of just trying to understand, not necessarily that it was listening on your conversations, but just like your people. Like you notice that she was staring at the madam for a long period of time, but now then over the course she stares at you, and she doesn't see you had. Yeah, the it's just not. sh- she doesn't eat very much, but she's focused. Like I
Taking it
said,
all in.
she's kind of observing more. Like this is one of her first trips, and she's just taking it all in, like what's going on. But like I said, the mother, the female alchemist mother, is she's not emotional too. She's just very like that caregiving, but she doesn't show a lot of emotion, but she's just very, yeah, yes, like almost, I want to say Vulcanish, if you want to tie it into some
Okay.
understanding, but very very logical, very very very,
Like affectionate, but
yes,
not overly so.
yes, but and like I said, and the little girl isn't,
Efficient in her affection.
yes, very much
Yeah.
so, very much
Very
so,
methodical.
but they're very quiet. Both of them are very very quiet as well, and in the process and things like that. So, but yeah, and then the madam is just enjoying. The first mate speaks to her like, how's your stay? Everything's going well. She's like, oh yes, lovely. Ah yes, it was a late night, but it was all good. And you notice that she's like, would you like some wine for breakfast? Oh, Chardonnay would be lovely. And he actually, or mimosa. And she's like,
Mimosa.
she pours a mimosa for her, and she takes a mimosa, and she's drinking a mimosa
Nice.
with breakfast.
Nice. Awesome.
So,
Amazing.
and as as you finish with breakfast, and as you're walking down, you hear the stomping and giggling of the married couple, the couple coming up, just kind of looking like they've got an hour of sleep, and just like, but they're still
And
all,
yet at the same time glowing.
oh yeah, and they're like, did we miss breakfast? Oh, and they're like, he's like, no, breakfast time. Right? Yeah, no, we can get something to go, can't we? And some of the cook kind of is like, yeah, the half orc is like, I'll bring something to the room. We've got it carried. No worry. Oh, lovely. Yes, a room. We'll take it to our room. And they go back to the room.
of course they do.
Oh, good. The room. I love it. Dude.
And it
I love it.
continues.
Eventually, if you two are still upstairs, you see Aviro come back upstairs and sit down at the table and be like,
disgusted.
You have no idea. Amazing.
always. It's constant. I don't understand the stamina of these people.
Well, I think they all have superpowers. Maybe that's this.
Is there nowhere to get any solace on this boat?
I had a pretty good time down in steerage with the crew last night. Oh, by the way, they are not as they appear. And Brynn would kind of explain to the guys exactly what she doesn't know exactly what it means or what exactly they are, but she just tells the guys what she saw.
Well, what else is new?
Recall knowledge, Aviro, if you would
Oh,
like.
yeah.
Recall knowledge? All right, what's my role?
If I recall, it's where's the recall now? It's
Cultism, academia.
yeah, academia. If you want to roll your academia, I mean, it's going to be your
Always.
default
The
on that one.
Arcana.
Or
I'm
Arcana.
going to use my I'm gonna use my Arcana or use
Yeah.
Arcana.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the same, I suppose. I'm gonna use my point. So that's a dirty 20. And all right, so 21.
So
Nice.
basically, you've heard of ships that have skeleton crews, like actual skeletons, and they're basically mundane on a ship. You've also heard of unseen servants that are magically attached to a ship that does all the crewing and basically making sure the ship goes and things of
Mm-hmm.
that nature. You also have heard of semi-sentient intelligent skeletons that are given that have a limited task, but they are they are intelligent undead. They're
Mm-hmm.
intelligent skeletons. Like they remember their former lives. They can do pretty much tasks and things of that nature, but they're skeletons. Um,
Mm-hmm. But they're glamored.
but they're
Glamored to look.
and definitely
Yeah.
glamour.
Yeah.
And when Brynn mentioned the seal and stuff like that, and how all the uniforms look, yes, they are glamored.
Mm-hmm.
So really, but you're pretty sure that the cook, the quartermaster, the first mate, and Leto are the only like
Actual
individuals
people.
that are actual, not undead or that
Mhm.
can leave the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow.
Did we see the skeleton crew above decks during the daytime when
Oh
the
yeah,
sun was still up?
oh yeah, and
Okay.
they're
All right.
glamored. Like I said, they look human in their uniforms and everything else. And they're, I mean, and strangely enough, they can be a 24/7. They're like they have regular like their regular set hours and crews. And from what Bryn's, they are like regular crew members,
Mm-hmm.
but they're made of skeletons that
Mm-hmm.
are glamored,
Mm-hmm.
which is
So
unusual magic.
they operate like they're humans, so they're not up there
Yep.
24/7.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
literally will
Yep.
do shifts
Yep.
and
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Very
yeah,
much so.
Mhm.
Mhm.
to keep up the appearance. Okay.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Um, and as you are the morning, and what are you doing? What do you want to do during the day before lunch?
Vero's trying to find a place away from the din.
I kind of want to just hang out on deck.
And after about an hour after breakfast, it quiets, and they kind of sleep all day.
Nice.
So it gets quiet during the
Vero,
day.
Vero goes back to his room and he reads a book
And reads a book.
and he avoids everyone else.
I'd be chilling out on deck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same with Glastoc.
All right. While on deck, you are starting to realize that tonight in the evening time, sometime later in the evening, it looks like a storm's going to hit. Doesn't look like it's a bad storm by any means, but it does look like there's a rainstorm coming, which will make probably sleeping a little difficult. But there might be a little choppy, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be a horrible storm. It's going to rain. So, um, so, but yeah. And as the afternoon kind of continues, like I said, the clouds kind of darken as you're going. And we getting closer to that dinner time. That is where we're going to pause. Actually, that is where we're going to end our second episode. And we will pick up our third episode with from the evening of a ship. Like, what could go wrong? More interactions with the crew and guests.
It has a very chill thunderstorm coming.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Very chill thunderstorm. Thank you everyone for joining us. We want to thank our affiliates Talon and Claw and Smuggler's Coffee for being such great friends. Please go check them out. You'll see in the chat their the information throughout it. Check them out. They are great. And again, thank you, wonderful players, you talented and wonderful, beautiful people. This has been awesome again.
Carrie killing it with the emotional stuff here.
Yes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Again, awesome.
No kidding.
A lot of drops. So please
Starting the season hot.
let's go around. We're gonna be just Who are you? Where can we find you? Like I said, timey-wimey on when this is going to be released. Because we're pre-recorded, but some of the stuff may have already happened, may not. So, Jim, how are you doing?
Good. So, Jim Hawkmer1 on Twitter. You can find me here, obviously, with this wonderful group that I just love playing off of them. They really, this is, I've always said role play is my weak point, but you two are helping me bring out my A game, so I really appreciate that. You can also find me here on the Emporium of the Wayward Gamer playing Clicky, well, I guess now he actually is a murderer. Gunslinger Jawa. For those of
It's
you
official.
who are not, well, you'd have to catch up on one of our last couple of episodes, but there was a job that went wrong, and
There was an incident.
Awry.
there was an incident. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's me.
Excellent. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Jeff, how are you doing, sir?
I am doing grand. Thanks so much. I am Jeff. You can find me here on the Emporium where the Wayward Gamer every time this show shows up. And that's it, because I am in school and all of my time is spent doing homework and being in class. And I don't play in any other games. So that's where you can find me.
Thank you, Jeff.
Ta-da!
Always a pleasure. Welcome back as usual. So
Thank you.
glad we can do this for season 3.
Me too.
Never least, Carrie, how are you doing?
Doing awesome. Thank you guys so much for another great session. Jay, especially very well done with all the, oh my gosh, the timey-wimey. I can't even imagine what goes on in your brain.
I think
But
he's
I'm
just
Carrie.
winging it and seeing what happens.
Yeah,
when we
right.
do stuff.
Just making it up as
Secrets
he
of the
goes.
GM.
Yeah, there you go. My name's Carrie. You can find me here, obviously. Also, I'm over on Mini Terrain Domain. I'm going to be over there on some Wednesday nights, one Wednesday a month, playing Call of Cthulhu. Going to be on Thursday nights here, starting soon, or maybe already started. I don't know. Playing Kids on Bikes. Playing Scribes and Scrolls on Monday nights. And then once in a while on Thursday nights, you can spot me on another channel called Dice Tales Live, where we actually play in person, and it's always a good time. And yeah, that's me.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Carrie. I am Jay, also known as Neophet3 in the socials. Thank you so much for joining us. Please, if you feel like supporting us, we appreciate it. There's many different ways of supporting us by subscribing, subs, things like that. Check out our YouTube channel with all our vlogs. I'm here on many occasions. I've got some charity work on and off with different channels. And by this time, there might be a pirate game that you will be seeing me running in Pathfinder 2 with some familiar faces. So, and that is the Realm of Thieves, the Unshackled. So hopefully that has been running very well, or just starting to run. And we're very excited about bringing some homebrew to some published content. So check them out. Again, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you for being here. Thank you for coming to the Emporium. And with that, we will say, be kind and don't be a jerk.
Dick.
Don't be a dick.
There you go.
Take care. Have a good one. See you later.
New show, new closing line.
New closing line. Night.